Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be discussing face primers. This is going to be another top 5 series, so if you guys are interested in seeing my top 5 face primers, then please keep on watching. First off, let's talk about this background. Are y'all loving it or are y'all loving it? Like, I kind of worked hard on it. If you don't love it, I mean, that's okay. That's honestly okay. I went to Marshall's. A little side note, you guys. I went to Marshall's and got some twinkle lights, or like some string lights, and I put them up, wrapped them around my plant that's over here and around my vanity. If you guys watch me on Snapchat, I showed you guys that like this half over here of my vanity has no lights whatsoever. This half is the half that my camera faces, so that way you see like the perfume and the plant and, you know, this little pumpkin over here that I got and everything, but this is the only side that has the lights on it, so it's kind of weird, but you know. So I think every season I'm gonna end up changing like this little like one little item that I keep on my vanity. Right now it's a light up pumpkin, and then in Christmas, or when Christmas comes, I'm gonna probably put like a little elf or like a little sleigh or something right there, so there's something going on in my background. Anyways, side note, let's go ahead and get the primers. So my first primer that I'm going to mention is an OG ride or die. This is the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser. As you can see, there's like nothing but maybe a little slither in this primer. The main reason I love this primer is because it is so affordable. It is about $6 or $7 at like Walgreens, Target, Ulta, you know, things of that sort. So affordable. Anyone from beginners up to professional makeup artists can use this. It just blurs out the skin. It's also a silicone based primer, so I feel like it makes my foundation go on so much smoother. Like, this is my go-to, like when I want a smooth, flawless application, I will use this primer, which is why it's gone. So the next primer is also drugstore. It is also one of my favorite primers. This is the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base Primer. I first started using this in about April, May-ish, kind of earlier this year. I did a full face using L'Oreal products. Now this is a more expensive of a drugstore primer. I believe this was about $12 to $17 at Walgreens, so anywhere between the $12 to $17 range. So it's a very expensive primer, but it is so amazing. It's a thicker primer, and it also comes in a jar, so you know, you can scoop it out, you can use it for clients, things of that sort. But I love to use it in my pore area because it really smooths out the pore area. The pore area in the middle of the forehead is where the more majority of my enlarged pores are, but I don't have to worry about that when I use this primer. It's just so expensive that I'm like, don't use it, don't use it, don't use it. But I love using it, especially when I'm doing like a drugstore look or when I'm going out to the club or something like that. It also doesn't make me over oily. Like some silicone based primers can make me over oily, but this one doesn't. This is my trusty drugstore primer. So this next primer is also drugstore. It is just a little bit more on the luxurious side of drugstore. So this is a LaRoche-Posay. It's their Anthelios 50. It's an anti-aging primer with sunscreen, and it's also mattifying. So this primer cost me about $50 at Walgreens. I know, expensive. LaRoche-Posay is one of my favorite skincare brands, along with Vichy. However, we don't carry any Vichy makeup items here in, I believe, the US or just in my area at all. But the Walgreens that I worked at was a beauty differentiated store, so it carried LaRoche-Posay and also Vichy. So I stared at this bad boy, stared at it, probably about 9 months into me working at Walgreens, and one day I finally decided to go ahead and pick it up. It is a thicker primer. It is thicker. It's kind of more like the L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base. Smooths out the pores. It is so amazing at smoothing out my pores and also keeping me matte. It's not one of those like kind of primers, but it keeps me nice and matte, and it has a sunscreen built into it. So if I just wanted to go out and, you know, do whatever, and I just wanted like something to fill in my pores and prime and also, you know, act as a sunscreen, this is a great primer. Now I don't have any problems with flashback or anything like that with this being a sunscreen based primer. None of that. It's not white. It's that silicone kind of consistency. So the next primer is another ride or die. I've had this primer probably since I figured out, or since I learned about Becca. It is the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Perfecting Primer, or Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. either at tit for tat, you know, whatever. This primer now, when I am like oily, like summertime oily, I will use this baby in my forehead right about here and around my nose, and then I use another primer in my cheek areas to fill in the pores. No problem at all. This primer keeps my oil at bay. And I know a lot of people are oily, so this primer works. But I also want to mention to you guys, if you are oily, start with your skincare. Your skincare routine matters, you guys. It's not just all makeup and makeup products that you can use to control your oil. Use a oily skin face wash. Use an oily skin mask. Use an oily skin moisturizer. Moisturizer. Even though you're oily, you still need to use a moisturizer. So I recommend using an oily skin moisturizer. Then you go in with your oily skin primer, something like the Becca Ever Matte. That's also going to control that oil, but you don't want to skip moisturizing, because us with oily skin, your skin will overproduce that oil, and then you will be screwed up. This baby won't help. So by using a moisturizer that controls oil right there at the skin's surface, and then you're using a primer that controls the oil as well right on top of that, you are going to be a-okay. You know what I mean? So I just used some new products from LaRoche-Posay actually that are oily skin and acne prone, and y'all know I have acne. You can't tell right now. I have acne prone and oily skin, and I have been loving those products, you guys. I will list those down below, so that way the next time you're at your Ulta or your Walgreens, you can check out the products. I'm sure they have testers for them. But side note, Becca Ever Matte, calm down, Lon, calm down, is amazing. It is an amazing primer. I can't say enough good things about it. It keeps your girl from getting oily. The last and final now I'm on oily skin, you guys. What the hell? Last and final primer that is my favorite is the Smashbox Photo Finish Foundation Primer. It's a pore minimizing primer, and I just have the little travel size of this just because I bought it about a year ago, and I have a lot of products or a lot of primers, so I go in between a lot of primers, but this one is my favorite pore minimizing primer. This bad boy doesn't do me wrong ever. Since I started using it, I'm just like, do I want to commit to paying $42, or do I want to keep buying the miniature sizes because I don't go through a whole primer unless it's like baby skin or something like that, you know what I mean? So I haven't committed to a big full size because $42 is like, but this is my favorite, you guys. I put a little slither, hit my cheek, hit my forehead, and I'm like, good. I usually don't prime my entire face, so that's why I keep telling you guys my cheeks and my forehead. I usually don't prime my entire skin just because, like, I don't really need to, but this is amazing for filling in the pores, you guys. It never does me wrong. It treats your girl well. That pretty much wraps up my top 5 favorite face primers for oily skin and just large pores. If you guys have any of your favorite primers that I didn't mention, or if you guys agree with my top 5 or anything like that, please let me know. By all means, this is not me go out and buy any of these products, but if you are interested in any of these products, I say go and get a small, like, travel size, kind of like this size at Ulta or at Walgreens, or not Walgreens, Ulta or Sephora, or go to Sephora and get a sample if you have one around you. So that way you can try it out on your skin, because what works for my skin won't work for your skin. But you guys, skincare. You want to start at home, which is your skin, and then work with your foundation, because if underneath of your foundation and underneath of the surface isn't good, then your foundation and your concealer and everything else, all of your makeup won't look good. Also, the tutorial on this look will be up at the end of this video, so click on that video if you haven't watched it yet. I love you all, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Mwah. Bye!
She works the nights by the water. She's gone astray, so far away from her father's daughter.